I have 1:32. We'll call this meeting to order. You want to do the roll call, please?
Good afternoon. If you are present online, please dial *6 or unmute yourself so we can take roll. Jason Hastings, remote.
Here.
Brian Schmidt. Phil Bachler, are you remote?
Present.
Thanks. Tiffany Palachek.
Here.
Ian Fisher, are you online? Ian Fisher, *6 or unmute yourself.
Ian Fisher, present.
Okay. Roger Petrick.
Here.
Mike Hochschild is excused. Roxanne Kahan.
Here.
Marvin Nevler. I'm so sorry. I know you're online, correct? Yes. All right. Darla Isham is excused. Tom LaVenture.
Here.
Jeff Hallstrand.
Here.
Kathy Parpart is excused. Doug Rasmussen. April Madrano is excused. And Kristen Palachek, are you online?
Here.
Thank you. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 remote and 6 present.
Okay, moving right along. Communications and announcements.
I have some emergency response guidebooks available, 2024 publication. I'm not sure how often they're going to continue to publish these, so if you want some, you can certainly have some. I have some spares here and some at my office if needed. Also, the Governor's Conference, which is typically held in March, has been canceled. So those are my announcements for now.
That's it? Okay.
I could talk a long time, but it wouldn't be enough.
Oh, okay. All right. Approval of the minutes from the January 15th meeting of last year. They're in your packet here. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to look at them. I'd like a motion to accept those minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a second.
I'll second
I'll
Tiffany
second.
Palachek.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. All right. Review of the bylaws.
So that should have been included in your packet. And basically the changes that were made were that our appointments, the officers of chair and vice chair are now considered evergreen positions. And then I fixed a typo. This is submitted to the state for approval and then submitted on to the federal to make us compliant with their regulations and laws. Any questions?
What does the term evergreen mean?
Evergreen would be that the position,
Forever.
yeah, until
Oh.
automatically removed. We used to have it on even in odd years.
Okay,
And,
yep.
And if you want to step down, you let us know, and then we'll hold elections at the next meeting, which is stated in here.
Okay.
So yes, vice chair and chair. If you want to notify me in advance of the next meeting that they wish to step down from the position, or if there's some unforeseen changes that come up rapidly. Also, that's required is our designation, which is in Article 5 under the Emergency Response Authorization. We do this every year. We designate the State Emergency Response Commission as our EPGRA compliance inspector. And as long as that's identified in our bylaws and I submit it with the grant, those are qualifying events, so. Any questions, any changes that people would like to see or added or? One thing that I would like to note is that we are supposed to have alternatives, an alternate for our positions. So if you could email those to me, that would be helpful. That way, if you can't make it, you can send your alternate and they would have voting rights as you would if you were here.
Okay. Alternates, okay. So we have no, we're not vote on that, do we?
We do need
Oh,
to
okay.
approve the bylaws.
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept the bylaws as printed for
I'd make-
January 2026?
I'd make that motion.
Okay. Roger, second that?
I'll second.
Jeff, okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes or the bylaws? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Okay. All right. Approval of the membership list. There's, in your packet, there's a list.
Well, number 4 is introduction of memberships. We've had quite a few
okay.
new faces and some people don't work with each other often. So we thought it would be good just to kind of go around and introduce ourselves and where we fit into the categories. And the categories are, the group 1 is elected officials, state or local. And number 2 is in the group of law enforcement, civil defense, firefighters, first aid, health, local environmental, hospital, transportation personnel. Number 3 is broadcast or print media. Number 4 is community groups. And number 5 are owners or operators of facilities subject to EPCRA requirements. So if you could just let us know, we try to make sure that we have 2 in each of those categories, but it's mandatory that we have 1 in each of those categories. So we like to, the reason this exists is so that it's a whole community involvement and we get multiple perspectives on our hazards in our county. So if you look on the membership list, it'll tell you which group you belong to. Jason Hastings, are you on? Is he on?
It should be, yeah.
Oh, okay. So we have Jason Hastings. He's group 1 with the county board. Brian Schmidt is the elected official for the sheriff's department. Phil, you're online. You're representing the fire association. Anything you care to add?
Nope, that is correct.
He could fall into about 6 groups, but we only have 5. So, Tiffany?
Tiffany Pellicek, Price County Health and Human Services. I am the health officer for public health. I'm in group 2.
Ian Fisher?
She was on there.
Ian is with
Yeah.
Marshfield Medical. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Ian Fisher, I'm the emergency manager. for Flag.
And he's in group 2. Roger?
I'm with Price County Highway Department.
Mike Holshed is with the Phillips Police Department. He's the chief there. I'm the county emergency manager. Marvin?
Marvin Novalier, I'm the chief of police for the city of Park Falls.
Darla is in the 3rd group, which is always a hard one. We finally have 2. She's with the local radio, WCQM. Tom?
Tom LaVenture, I'm the editor of the Price County Review in Group 4.
Group 3. Brent?
Group 3, I'm sorry.
Oh, you scared me for a minute. Jeff Hallstrand?
Yep, Jeff Hallstrand. I'm representing Nervato here as a organization. I as well could be under many different groups.
Yep. And Kathy Parport's not here. She's with the Lions Club. And she has attended before, but she's also pretty active in our community and other levels too. Doug Rasmussen?
Yes, I am the chairman and chairperson, excuse me. And also I'm the AMVETS and Legion Post Commander in Phillips.
April is with one of our facilities. She's not here today. And we work with her with our off-site plan. And we meet whenever necessary, but she's with PW Paper Systems. And then Kristen Polachek.
Yeah, Kristen Polachek. I'm still doing some environmental work at the old paper mill site in Park Falls. We're making good progress getting our chemicals, but we still have a couple.
And you managed to get one off our list, didn't you?
Me?
Well, it's not you personally, but you lowered some of the chemicals there.
Oh yes, yeah. We were really our ferric sulfate is getting used by someone else. So yeah, you're right.
Well, we thank you everyone for being part of this and helping us make sure that our community is safe. So if there's any questions you have or recommendations, please bring them forward at some point and we can incorporate that into our initiatives. So.
Okay, so that is the LEPC membership list. LEC membership list. Do we need to vote on this?
Yeah, because
Okay.
this is what we're going to submit to the county board for approval and then move it on to the state.
Okay, we need a vote, motion to approve the membership list that will be sent to the county board.
I'll make a motion to approve the.
Okay,
And that's Marvin.
who is
Yeah.
that? Marvin, okay.
This is Phil. I'll second it.
Okay, Phil. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, everyone.
Off-site facility list. That's in your packet there also.
So we all know that there are plenty of chemicals in the county, but our off-site facility list consists of extremely hazardous substance. So that's how this list is determined. It is determined because they input this information into a program called WHOPPERS, which is Wisconsin's Hazardous Online Reporting System. And that's how we develop our off-site plans. It has the information as far as how many full-time employees and what kind of chemicals and where they're stored. So we are required to review 10 a year. We have, technically there's 12 on the list, but the well 5 has been vacant for years and it just kind of keeps phantomly popping up, but we're working on getting that off permanently too. So we review typically all of them every year, just because what's one more? If you're at 10, you might as well do 11. So, but this is the list. Does anybody know of anything that should be on there that isn't?
There's another appendix B in your packet, and that has what chemicals each of these facilities has.
Roxanne, I believe that the telephone company in Park Falls is not called CenturyLink anymore. I'm not sure if it's officially called Brightspeed now. I know that there's been some changes there.
Right, right. It was CenturyLink, it was Lumen, it was Brightspeed. It is still being submitted, and this is how I determine the list. It's still, they're inputting it into Whoppers as CenturyLink
Okay.
Park Falls. Otherwise, I would rename it like we have with the paper mills had multiple name changes over the course of time too. So I don't want to try and deviate from what's actually on the official records at the state level. But I agree with you. It's
Roxanne,
mhm.
one quick question. I see that Park Falls Municipal Pool is on there for chlorine. What about the other pools in the county, like the Phillips Pool, the one at Schwamigan School, or the one at the hotel in Park Falls? Do those need to be?
They don't meet the requirement, the threshold requirement. So there's a certain amount of chemical amount that can be tolerated. And it also depends on the type of chemical they use. And we had this question asked because we also thought of the ice skating rink up in Park Falls, and the chemicals they use are not the ones that are extremely hazardous substance. So thanks for asking. Good catch. And when you say Park Falls Hotel,
The lanes?
oh, okay. I can check, but I haven't checked on the lanes. Oh, they did. And so they may come up on the list. And here's what happens. This list is from 2025, and this is how it's determined. And then we develop our plans off what they did last year. So if something comes online this year, it wouldn't show up until next year. If that makes any sense. So it's actually kind of running a year behind. We do try to make the plans as current as possible. So that comes from just talking with the people that own these and operate them. And if there are changes, we try to make the plan reflect that, but this list is going to say what's ever in Whoppers. I think the highway department asked if I could add the airport to. I think it came from Sarah, but it wasn't an extremely hazardous substance for the fuel that they keep on there. So, but that's not an extremely hazardous substance.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay,
This list is also can be found
This
in,
is,
go ahead.
excuse me, this is Paula Hodak. I'm just listening to your list there. Is there, are there any kinds of these substances over at the paper mill, if that's what you call it, the one that's down by the park? Lineite, thank you.
Lineite.
Lineite has been empty, vacant, and
Okay,
has been cleared by our inspectors. Apparently, that was a couple of years ago.
okay, I wasn't sure about that. I know
Nope.
it's empty, but I didn't know if it had been cleared. So thank you.
You bet. Thanks for asking.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
this would be found in our countywide strategic plan. This list, it's in, and if you want a copy of those, let us know. We can get that sent to you. And it's changes every year, but not by much. It's pretty standard every year. Actually, Lineite used to be on here and a couple of others, but they've now since either reduced their amounts or changed how they the chemicals that they have on site. So this would be the list to be approved by the committee.
okay, everybody's read this list over. You see what's there. Can we get a motion to approve the list of facilities? Someone make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the facility list.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Emergency manager report.
So you'll see that attachment A is the DNR spill report summary. That differs slightly from what the reports that I had received online in my email as far as spills is concerned. This was a more thorough list, so this is what I inputted into our report. Most of these aren't going to be extremely hazardous substance. They are just, I shouldn't say just, but they are spills and they are reported kind of regardless of the amount. And sometimes the amount just isn't known. So gives you an idea of where they're happening, where the municipality is. And you can see that the status of all these are closed. Also the date of when it happened. So, excuse me. Any questions or comments? You can go online. The reason I attached that link is if you wanted to, you can track it any time of the year you want and go online and look it up. And you can see, you can narrow it down by specs. And I simply put it by Wisconsin or Price County active or activity, and this is what it came up with.
Ms. Cahan, this is Jason Hastings. I have a question.
Jason, go ahead.
Yes, I know that the Price County Unlimited United group had received a $1.6 million grant from the environmental cleanup and brownfield redevelopment. What was the chemicals down there that they're cleaning up using that money?
When I went to the PCLU
This is Nick.
meeting the other night, and they started to discuss that. I know it's 1.6, 1.7 million. It sounds like the main thing they were cleaning up was asbestos, and just then cleanup of like dilapidated buildings. It didn't sound like they had a lot of chemical. I know, Tom, you were at that meeting too.
From what I remember, I don't know this for 100%, but from her presentations, there was some underground contamination. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't to the level or whatever. They came to the decision that it was best to keep it capped. And most of the cleanup was above ground, like you said, the asbestos and removing some of the machinery.
Yeah, the ground stuff was permeable or whatever. They had some environmental term where it doesn't continue to move. It's just in a spot. It doesn't affect groundwater. It doesn't affect surrounding water.
Thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate it. Constituents are asking.
They used to have them big oil tanks down there that they dip the boards in. And I would think that stuff probably would be running on the ground someplace there.
Yeah,
years ago.
They had the person there presenting about environmental cleanup, and that wasn't one of their. Like I said, the main thing was the buildings and asbestos removal in those buildings. They were worried about paint on the outside of the metal, but when they tested it, it was non-painted metal. There was a whole bunch of stuff that they kind of reviewed.
Okay, thank you. All right. Spill report, we got that. HEPCRA Computer Hazards Response Equipment Grant.
That is a grant that we apply for every year. And what it does is it helps us purchase some office equipment, keep our computers updated. And then the other part is for our hazmat team, which is located in Ashland County. So the 2025 grant that we submitted for and request for reimbursement will be completed by the end of this month. However, the preliminary numbers are $9,301.14. That number may vary, it may change, it depends on what and not only that, but we're only going to get a certain portion of that back. The rest is a match grant on our part. And that can be done by hazmat physicals, our computer time for our IT setting us up, and a variety of other things. So, and just dollars that we've spent toward these items that are above and beyond what they would purchase. The 2026 has been applied for, but obviously that still needs to be reviewed and approved. And so we're still waiting to hear about the 2026, but and the grant usually comes in after the county closes out the book, so it doesn't always reflect what our actual numbers are. But our budget for it is only $5,600. The grant, we could potentially, no one's ever gotten it, but it does say that you can be awarded up to $10,000. That's never happened because there's 72 counties and it's kind of an underfunded grant. But we do get some reimbursement to meet this, and it does help meet our requirements as far as, keeping our community safe from extremely hazardous substance and being prepared to respond. If there is a specific item that you would like to see the county invest in, let us know. Or I say us, like me, let me know, and or Doug, and we can look into, there is a certain criteria that is on that computer part of the grant, and there are certain criteria that it falls under the hazardous response equipment. But if it falls in those categories, then we can certainly look into purchasing those on each of the grants. 1 year out of every 4, the computer part is a $6,000 grant that we can use toward, and that can go, I think the last time we did it to upgrade the Emergency Operations Center, because that was so, it was really antiquated. Things were not being able to be updated anymore. So we were able to purchase enough of the computers to update that. So we are coming up, I think there's 2 or 3 years left to that. I think this 26 is the second part of that 4-year process. So if there's a larger item that you would like us to purchase, the computer, I can just meet with me and we can go through the list of things that are available. Or if you're interested, I can bring it back to another committee meeting and everybody can take a look at what there is. So.
So on the
No, is that
state
the
highway
planning
system.
and
Go ahead.
administration? Oh.
So on the state highway system now, they require MUTS compliant signs,
You're gonna
barricades.
need to talk here.
What's that? Can you hear me?
Okay.
So on the state highway system now, they require MUTS compliant barricades, which we don't have. Is that something that would be available for this grant?
Probably not, only because it needs to be related to an extremely hazardous substance. But let me look into it because I do sit on the advisory committee and we're always making suggestions on what ought to be on there. And if you can explain how it is related to keeping our community safe from extremely hazardous substance or hazardous substance, we can maybe argue that it's preventing tip overs or, so it doesn't flow. We can talk and send me the information on it and we can submit it to the advisory committee. Those are the things that, if you have an idea, let us know.
Okay. Now, is that it, the planning and administration grant?
That is another grant that is used for LEPC purposes, and our budget is $6,000 or $8,000 for that in 2025, and so that is to help maintain what we do as a committee. If there's certain things that you would like us to see, let us know. We use some of those funds for traveling to conferences. So we would cover your cost if you're interested in attending something with an extremely hazardous, well, not just extremely hazardous substance, but just become more aware of hazardous substances and where it may or may not impact our county. You can let us know. We've used that to help go toward our updated plans for a commodity flow study. And so there's other areas that equipment that have gone into the command post. Printing our ad every year is required to put a public notice once a year. Office supplies and that sort of thing. So, and paying for exercises. But if you have something specific that you would like to see our dollars go toward, please, feel free to let us know.
Okay. Anybody got any questions on that? If not, integrated preparedness plan.
Well, I meant to send off and I didn't, and I apologize. The IPP, which is the Integrated Preparedness Plan. And what that involves is not just what we in emergency management would do, but how can we incorporate all levels of our community in our planning process. So I think last year I asked what were some of the hazards that you've come across that we could maybe mitigate or work a program towards. What are the risks or threats? And so we kind of need to identify 3 preparedness priorities and 2 core capabilities that we would help to address. So that would be in the planning or organizing, equipment, training, or exercising. And that can include training locally or us going to training and or participating in drills. Like I've gone to pipeline drills and exercises. We have one in our county, but we never know when it might impact us, even with just the one. And or I know that the fire departments have held training and they've done it on their own, where they've had, and maybe you've seen it down at the park down here in Phillips, where they've brought in the big tanks of LP and had the firefighters come in and rotate through how to contain fires in varying sizes of leaks. So if there's something you'd like us to see equipment-wise or training, I know that at one point it was brought up, they would like to make sure that all of our responders are equipped with meters to detect if they're walking into someplace that's got gases. And I know that we have supplied those for our hazmat team. And in response, they've also provided our fire departments with some of those meters. Phil, are those meters still, do they need to be calibrated every year? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
You're muted, Phil, if you are trying to.
Bill, we can't hear you if you're talking. But that's another element of something that we, something like that we could make sure that our responders have in their kit. And that again would go towards some of that funding and grant ideas.
Does do the fire departments have those absorbent type of kind of rope materials that when there's a fuel spill at a gas station, they surround it so that it doesn't run into the storm drains, things like that? That might be something that they wouldn't normally get in their budget or something.
I can't answer for the fire departments. And Phil, you might be able to respond to this. Tom was asking if each fire department has like your absorbing snakes that you can surround a spill. And if the fire department doesn't, and I know that does the highway have anything like that too? No. We have a trailer that is a hazmat response trailer. We actually have two. One is located in Prentice and one is out by the airport. And those, so there's some of those absorbent type of materials there. There's also the tubs to put them in and seal the tubs so that, you know, they can be disposed of properly too. So, and it's more than just snakes, but Phil, are you still there? Yeah, he's probably on call for the ambulance service, so I'm not surprised. Oh. But, you know, we have a fire association meeting coming up at the end of the month, and I can make sure to ask them what their needs and wants are too. So.
Just occurred to me while you're talking about equipment that might, you know, not be on the priority list, that would be helpful to add.
Right. Yeah, true enough. I can make a note of that too.
Wasn't one of these spills an oil spill from a semi truck or something, diesel or?
Yeah, I think it was. What does it say? I'd have to
Doesn't say
find my.
what.
Oh,
I thought this one here this one was by the A&W or something. I thought they had a big spill there.
and that might be in that other report that I have. And that gives a little different information than what that spill has. And it would identify what it was, whether it was gasoline or diesel or oil. Sometimes it's an unknown substance and they just surround it and clean it up out of the, you know, ditches or somebody's backyard. So this integrated plan is something that is really kind of important. We want to make sure that we have the proper training, the equipment, for all levels of the county. So that means, you know, if you know of a business that's interested in participating in an exercise or wants to do an in-house, you know, evaluation, we'd be glad to, you know, talk with them about some of the ways to be safe and how to respond if they're in their community and something happens. But all ideas are welcomed, and we can determine some of our initiatives locally if you're interested. Excuse me.
Okay, anything else on that?
Well, I may send out a survey at some point later on this year, just so you know. It would be to help develop this integrated preparedness plan.
Okay, anybody else got any questions on that? Okay, moving right along. Next meeting, April 15th, 2026. That work for you?
Yep, I keep my month open. So we meet quarterly. So it's January, April, July, and October. The third Wednesday of every month, 1:30, usually in this building right here in this room. So if you can just kind of put those dates on your calendar. If there's nothing to vote on, like last year, there just wasn't a whole lot of activity, then we can cancel the meeting. This one in January is really important. It's considered our business meeting. We have to have, as an LEPC, at least one meeting a year, and more as required or as needed. But that would be really the point is to make sure that we have a safe community and that we're doing everything we can to comply and meet the requirements and deliverables of grants. And if anybody's got insomnia, needs some sleeping material, you can read through the grants, notice of funding opportunities, and they usually get, you know, anywhere from 30 to 70 pages long, but it does tell you what's required under each grant. So.
Okay. Anybody got anything else? Okay, motion to adjourn?
So move. I make that motion.
Okay. We are adjourned.
Sorry, kind of took your light away. Thank you, everyone.